Hi there, welcome to www.highschoolmaths.co.uk. Today we're going to be looking at fractions of a number and how to find a fraction of a number. So it's quite a straightforward process, normally non-calculator unless the numbers are quite challenging. So we're going to have a look at 4 examples and then a little example in a context. So first question, half of 20. Most people probably know by this stage that to find a half you just divide by 2. The kind of key rule we're looking at here for fractions of a number is that you take the number you're looking at, you divide it by the bottom and times by the top. So for instance here, really what we're doing is we're taking the 20 that we want to find half of, we're dividing it by the 2, which is dividing by the bottom, and then we're actually timesing by 1. Okay, so 20 divided by 2 is 10, times that by 1 and we still get 10. Okay, so that's not really good. The multiplying by 1 here is not going to make a difference to our final answer. So let's look at the second example, a third of 36. So we're going to take the 36, we're going to divide by the bottom, divide by the 3, and multiply by the top, so times by the 1. 36 divided by 3 is 12, and 12 times 1 is still 12. So that would be our final answer there. So example C and D, we're doing the same rule, that divide by the bottom, times by the top, but you'll notice that the numerator, the top number of the fraction in both of these examples is no longer a 1. So we're going to take the 21 and we're going to divide it by the bottom, divide it by the 3, times it by the top, but this time we're timesing by 2. Now, you can still carry on as you did before. 21 divided by 3. How many 3s in 21? Would be 7. But this time we're still to multiply that answer by 2. 7 times 2 is 14. So you can see there's an extra little step there, an extra little thing to think about when the top number, your numerator, isn't a 1. Here, we've got a bigger number, but you should still be able to manage it. So 128 divided by 4, divided by the bottom, times by the top, times by 3. Now, if you're not sure about 128 divided by 4, that's the stage where you set a little dividing calculation. So, we've got 128 split 4 ways. So, how many 4s fit into 1? That would be 0. Carry the remaining 1 over. How many 4s fit into 12? Would be 3. How many 4s fit into 8? Would be 2. So we get 32 there. So 128 divided by 4 is 32. We still have to multiply that by 3. And again, you might not be sure about 32 times 3, so let's just set out a little calculation. 32 times 3. 3 times 2 is 6, and 3 times 3 is 9. No carrying required there. So our final answer would be 96. Okay, so let's have a look at the question that's in a little context here. So we get 5/6 of a crowd were female. How many males were in the crowd if there were 11,052 people in total? So a really big number here, so we're definitely going to have to use some kind of calculation in this. But the key thing we're looking for is how many males were in the crowd. Now, there's a few different ways you can approach this. It's really entirely up to you. So what I'm going to do first of all is I'm going to figure out how many females were in the crowd. Okay, so I'm going to figure out 5/6 of 11,052, which means, so this is for females, which means we're going to do 11,052 divided by 6 times 5. So still dividing by the bottom, timesing by the top. And if we do that, then that's that kind of calculation. I'm not confident doing that in my head, so I'm going to set out a little division calculation here. 11,052, give myself some nice space there, divided by 6. So how many 6s go into 1? Well, that would be 0, with the remainder of 1. How many 6s in 11? That would be 1, with the remainder of 5. How many 6s go into 50? Well, 6 8s are 48, so that gives us a remainder of 2. How many 6s go into 25? Well, that would be 4, because 6 4s are 24, with the remainder of 1. And how many 6s go into 12? That would be 2. So that gives us 1,842. Then we've got to multiply that by the 5. And again, I'm not totally confident that I can do that in my head without making a mistake, so I'm just going to set out that work in there. 1,842 times 5. 5 2s are 10, so we put the 0 down, carry the 1 over to the next column. 5 4s are 20, add on the 1 is 21, carry the 2 over. 5 8s are 40, add on the 2 is 42, carry the 4 over, and 5 ones are 5, add on the 4 is 9, so we get 9,210. So altogether, there were 9,210 females in the crowd. If we want to find out how many males there are, we've got to do a little subtraction sum. A little subtraction. So we've got 11,052 minus 9,210. Make sure you set them out all in a line. Start lining up from the right hand side. 2 take away 0 is 2. 5 take away 1 is 4. 0 take away 2 we can't do, so we borrow from this. That becomes a 10. 10 take away 2 is 8. 0 take away 9 we can't do, so we're going to borrow from that, make that a 0, and this will become a 10. 10 take away 9 is 1, so we get 1,842 males in the crowd. Okay. Now, alternatively, for this question, what we could have done instead is we could have recognized that if 5/6 of the crowd are female, so 5/6 are female, then that leaves the 1/6 left over to be male. So we could have just figured out 1/6 of 11,052, which is 11,052 divided by 6 times 1. And then that makes it actually a little bit easier here, because the multiplying by 1 means the answer is just going to stay the same. So that saves us a little bit of time with that working. So we can just set out 11,052 divided by 6. How many 6's go into 1? 0, carry the 1. How many 6's in 11? We've done this calculation before, so we're just repeating this here. So that would be 1 with the remainder of 5. How many 6's in 50? That's 48. 6 8's are 48 with the remainder of 2. How many 6's in 25 would be 4 with the remainder of 1. How many 6's in 12 would be 2. So we get 1,842. As I said, we've already multiplied. If we multiply by 1, the answer is just going to stay the same. So that would be how many males. And that's an alternative approach. Sometimes that will be quite a bit shorter, as you can see it was here. But they both, at the end of the day, end up with the same answer for both. So it's up to you entirely which route you want to take. As long as you show you're working, either will get you full marks in a question. Hopefully you found that a useful video. For other maths videos and resources, please visit www.highschoolmaths.co.uk. If you like the video, don't forget to click that like button and remember and subscribe. And please, please, please share this video. Thanks for watching. Have a mathemagical day.